One priority, and we treat our customers as we like to be treated. Check us out online, cannonsofjacks.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. He's Hacker.
Talk about a fried egg. I lasted about 5 minutes out there. I said, to heck with this. I'll do this in the morning. And I don't have any inside information. The lady that did it, she got in there. She made it happen.
And he doesn't shy away from opinion.
And I do enjoy drinking cold beer at ballparks. So if that makes me a baseball fan, then I'm a diehard baseball fan.
It's Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
And a very good Monday evening to you, Jacksonville. It is Hacker After Dark, 1010XL, 92.5 FM with Aaron Williams. The Hacker Ryan Green with you. Glad you are with us to kick off another week here on Hacker After Dark, a Monday night that finds us playing the final college football game of the year. We're going to decide a national champion coming up here in the next 3 hours or so. Undefeated Indiana and the Miami Hurricanes in the national championship game. They are underway. Miami got the ball first. I believe got one first down. Did have to punt, but they have pinned Indiana and the Heisman Trophy winner, Fernando Mendoza, inside their own 5-yard line. Again, Indiana about to run their first offensive play of the game. We are scoreless in the national championship game. We'll keep you updated. Again, more thoughts on that coming up momentarily. We will talk about the craziness of the NFL coaching carousel. We now have 10 jobs that need to be filled. 7 already, or I guess 3 already have been. 7 still need to be. 10 new head coaches in the NFL in 2026. That is wild to think about after Buffalo fires Sean McDermott earlier today. We know John Harbaugh to the Giants. We know Kevin Stefanski to the Falcons. And earlier this evening, it's being reported Green Bay defensive coordinator Jeff Hafley is now the brand new head coach of the Miami Dolphins. So the Giants, the Falcons, and the Dolphins have found their new guys in charge, but you still got the Ravens, the Steelers, the Cardinals, the Titans. You throw Buffalo into the mix now as well. A lot of jobs. The Raiders still need to be filled, and we'll talk about that. How does that affect Anthony Campanile's future here in Jacksonville? With Cleveland, is Grant Yudinski a match for them? Yudinski is one of the guys that's getting a second interview with the Cleveland Browns. So we will talk about the coaching carousel and how that does affect Jacksonville. And then certainly I want to get in to putting a bow on the Jaguar season and start looking ahead to free agency. John Shipley, Jaguars on SI, will join us in about half an hour, a little less than half an hour. Also the coach, Mark Duffner, later on in the 9 o'clock hour. A little Gator basketball talk as well, as all of a sudden the University of Florida, one time 5-4 on the year, now finds themselves 13-5 on the year and 4-1 in the Southeastern Conference. Are they starting to round into form? Maybe a little bit like last year when they went on that run to the national championship. They looked pretty good on Saturday. We'll talk about it tonight. So we're absolutely loaded. We're glad you're with us. Before we even get to the big deal of the night, I want to welcome in Aaron Williams, the brand new producer here with us on Hacker After Dark. Aaron, how are you, my friend?
Doing great, Hack. How are you?
We're good, man. Welcome to the team. You'll be doing Into the Night with Rick Ballou every night. You'll also be with me every night. Real quick, just give the folks a little bit of background. You've been with the radio station now for a few months, but just tell everybody what you want them to know about you.
Yeah, just started back in August at Full Sail University. My second stint in college. First one, younger side of me, didn't take it all that serious, but wised up, got done with it, and started here in August, and producing, engineering, things like that. Anything to help out the station. And the good folks here at 1010 have treated me nice, so I'm just paying that back to them. Glad to be here.
Aaron's a good dude, and we're glad to have you with us every night here on Hacker After Dark. Indiana did have to punt, so we've had a couple of punts. Miami will get the ball back. Still about 10 minutes to go in the first quarter, right underway. It is very early, and we are still scoreless in the national championship game. Every night on Hacker After Dark, we do kick it off with a big deal of the night and Aaron Williams. Let's do that right now.
Time now for the big deal of the night
What's the big deal?
What is the big deal?
No big deal.
It is a big deal.
on Hacker After Dark.
All right, couple of big deals of the night. First and foremost, the national championship game in college football going on right now between Miami and Indiana. You know, whoever wins the game tonight, it's going to be an incredible story. If Miami wins, well, Mario Cristobal returns to his alma mater, and in 4 short years has got them back to the mountaintop of college football. Think about where Miami has been under the likes of Al Golden and Randy Shannon and Manny Diaz. Mark Richt got them back a little bit, but certainly not to where they are now. And in 4 years, which is not that long a period of time, Mario Cristobal has them playing for a national championship. Obviously, you got Jacksonville's own Carson Beck, who won a state title at Mandarin High School, now looking to win a national title at the U. Big-time stories all the way around. We get asked all the time after Miami wins a couple, is the U back? Is Miami back? Well, that question would officially be put to bed tonight if Miami wins their first national championship in a quarter century. What a story it would be. From the Indiana side of things, I mean, where do you even begin? They're 15-0, ranked number 1 in America. They beat Oregon not once but twice. They beat Ohio State. They absolutely destroyed Alabama. And if they win tonight in Miami, playing Miami for the national championship to round out a 16-0 undefeated national championship season, I don't know if I'm overstating this. You tell me. Would that be one of, if not the biggest stories in the history of college football? I mean, keep in mind, with the new playoff, obviously, we've never had a 16-0 national champion. You would if Indiana wins tonight. Curt Cignetti with a win would be 27-2 in 2 years on the job in Bloomington, Indiana. It's the land of NIL. It's the land of the portal. And if Indiana does this, and they've probably already changed the game with what they've already done this year, but if they were to win, and if they were to cap off a 16-0 national championship season, it would change the landscape of college football forever, if they haven't done so already. So no matter who wins tonight, it is going to be one heck of a story. And likewise, no matter who wins tonight, it is going to be one heck of a post-game interview on that stage. Whether it's Mario Cristobal or Curt Cignetti, that is going to be appointment viewing to hear the winning coach in about 3 hours' time celebrating this national championship. The other big deal of the night is NFL related, and I want to get more into the coaching carousel in a moment. But I want to talk about making good decisions before you make bad decisions, right? A good decision. You know what a good decision was here in Jacksonville? Well, it was to fire Doug Peterson and ultimately fire Trent Baalke and hire Liam Cohen. Well, you say, Hacker, no kidding. You know why it's an even better decision now? Because there were 10 job openings in the NFL coaching carousel this offseason. 10. Can you imagine the commodity that Liam Cohen would have been during this coaching cycle? as opposed to what he was last year. The Jaguars were really smart, and they were 1 year ahead of the curve because Liam Cohen would be arguably the most sought-after man this coaching cycle, because I believe if he would have gone back to Tampa for a second year, he would have flourished with Baker Mayfield again, and then every team that had an opening would be calling Liam Cohen. Instead, the Jaguars, who were, by the way, the only team to interview Liam Cohen last year, the only team that showed interest in having Liam Cohen as their head coach, the Jaguars were very smart, were very diligent in being a year ahead of the curve when it came to Liam Cohen. There's been many, many times over the last 2+ decades you can fault the Jaguars for not making the correct decision. Last year, they made a terrific decision. Even though it was looked at by some, Cohen only called plays for a year. 1 year's a small sample size. Well, maybe. But the Jaguars saw their guy, they acted on it, and they got it done a year before the floodgates opened, and now 10 teams were looking for brand new head coaches. Kudos to Tony Boselli, kudos to Shad Khan, and everybody involved with the Jaguars, that they were a year ahead of the process. They were a year ahead of when most people thought Cohen should get looked at as a head coach. The Jaguars took a risk a year early, and they are paying the dividends both on the field and paying the dividends in that they don't have to compete with 9 or 10 other teams for Liam Cohen's services here in the 2026 NFL offseason. Again, 3 of the jobs have been filled. John Harbaugh to the Giants, Kevin Stefanski to the Falcons, and reportedly now Jeff Hafley, the Green Bay defensive coordinator, to the Miami Dolphins. What does that mean for Anthony Campanile's future here in Jacksonville? What does that mean for Grant Yudinski's future here in Jacksonville? And Sean McDermott fired earlier today in Buffalo after 8 consecutive playoff appearances? Wild stuff. We'll talk about the coaching carousel. Also, John Shipley, Jaguars on SI. He joins us in about 25 minutes. Still scoreless. Indiana and Miami, a defensive battle. We're still only midway through the first quarter. We will keep you updated as they are playing for a national championship tonight down in South Florida. With Aaron Williams, the hacker Ryan Green with you. Jacksonville, we're glad you're with us on a Monday night here in Northeast Florida. We're with you till 10 o'clock. It's Hacker After Dark.
Streaming live from the XL Digital Studios. Polished by Harbor Dental Care, the locally owned smile restoration experts.
Bueller. Stay cooler with Bueller.
Hey, pal. Is that a turtleneck? Can't you feel it, Jason? There's a chill in the air. A definite nip. I mean, it is January. In Jacksonville, Jason. I didn't come here for cold. Well, I wouldn't call this. Cold weather gives me the sniffles. Sniffles turns to pneumonia. Suddenly, I'm in a hospital bed with a tube down my throat because Florida didn't get the memo about ignoring winter. So, switch over to heat. What if my system can't remember how to heat? Dude, put on these sunglasses. Whoa. Bueller Air & Plumbing can make sure your system is ready to switch from cooling to heat. We'll clean your heating coil to get rid of that burning dust smell and make sure you have the coolant pressure to keep your heat pump pumping out the heat. Huh, I had no idea these sunglasses worked in the winter.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
Hey, it's Angela and Brian Wall. How many companies do you know in this day and age that actually want their potential customers to call their competition and get quotes from them?
That's what Wonderworld wants you to do. Wonderworld knows there are other window companies out there, but we also know those other guys. When compared to Wonderworld, They can't offer you the quality at the price that Window World can.
And with Window World, you get the absolute best guarantee there is in the window replacement business.
If anything goes wrong with your new Window World windows, 5 years from now, 10, 15, 50, Window World and I will be there to fix it for you. You get peace of mind with Window World, and to top it off, Window World windows increase the value of your home. So look what you get with Window World. Quality windows, low price, the best guarantee in the business, energy savings, and an increase in the value of your home. A win-win for you.
Call Window World today and get your free in-home estimate, or see them online at windowworldneflorida.com.
Window World, simply the best for less. Thank you for your business.
Window World also offers energy-efficient doors.
Get the best soccer talk on the First Coast on the Coaches Show, presented by Sporting Jacks. Cole Pepper, Sporting Jacks head of soccer Mark Warburton, and Sporting Jacks women's coach Stacey Baylor discuss the beautiful game Tuesday evenings at 6 on 1010 a.m.
Low mortgage rates are back. Listen, Loan Pronto has fixed rate mortgages with APRs as low as 4.89%. It's the lowest in years. Hey, gang, Prosser here. Smart homeowners are taking advantage of this while they can. If you got stuck in a 6% loan, you can lower your payment big time, or you can keep your primary mortgage intact, get cash out, equity with Loan Pronto's rapid equity loans. One homeowner just got $250,000 out of their home. They paid off all their credit cards, some car loans, and cut their monthly expense by $2,000. Call now. See what option works best for you, but don't miss this big rate drop of 2026. Ask about new home loans, VA loans, full cash out refis, or their famous rapid equity loan. You can close in less than 2 weeks. You may be able to skip your next 2 house payments altogether. Call 904-999-1508 or visit loanpronto.com. No hard credit pull. 904-999-1508. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781. APR for well-qualified buyers.
Visit NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
I was ordering food for the office from the same few places for too long.
For workplaces suffering with office food fatigue, every day's a struggle.
Before starting Easy Cater, I assumed having no good vegan options for Carl in finance was normal.
Easy Cater is designed to treat OFF with a huge variety of favorite restaurants, plus tools to help you meet dietary needs and stay on budget. Use daily. One platform lets you save time and shine. Ask your app store about Easy Cater or start an order at easycater.com.
Hi, I'm Mike Fleming from the Stephen A. Cohen Military Family Clinic at Centerstone. Because of the players, we can provide critical mental health care to veterans, service members, and their families. 50 days until the players.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
National championship going to be decided tonight down in South Florida. Hurricanes and the Hoosiers. Indiana is mounting the first drive of the game. We're inside of 5 minutes to go in the first quarter. 3 punts in total, 2 by Miami, 1 from Indiana. Indiana has moved the ball down inside the Miami 30 on a 3rd down, and they convert it. 3rd and 5 right up the gut. 8 yards on a 1st down. So now Indiana is inside the Miami red zone, the first scoring threat of the night. I'll say this too. Obviously I don't have the volume on in here. I'm watching it. But watching it without volume, just my assumption, this game is being played on Miami's home field. And I guess maybe literally the home field might be an advantage, as in the turf, because there is a ton of red in South Florida. It is an Indiana takeover, it looks like, down there, at least from what I can see from the aerial shots. Look, you talk about bandwagon fans. I don't know. I don't know if that's even a thing anymore. Maybe it still is. I didn't know Indiana had this great following, 3, 4, 5 years ago. I just recently found out that they have the largest alumni base in the country, which I thought was pretty crazy too. But they have embraced this, and why wouldn't they with what Cignetti has done? Remember the game against Oregon in Atlanta 10 days ago? That was a red takeover as well. They owned that game, and I just can't believe that they're playing in Miami and there's that many Indiana fans. I mean, it is a clear Indiana crowd. They're going to have a key 3rd down tonight. You know, Aaron, I was talking to you earlier, man, and I'm going to get into the NFL coaching carousel in a moment. We were talking earlier. To me, it doesn't even matter who wins tonight. I'm lucky enough to not have a dog in the fight, so I don't have to be on pins and needles watching this thing in the fourth quarter. I just want to see a good competitive game, a close game. But whether Miami wins for their first title in a quarter century and Cristobal gets his alma mater back and Carson Beck, a local guy from Jacksonville, wins a title, or whether Indiana wins to go 16-0 and to be the first obvious 16-0 team in college football and to win the title and what Cignetti has done there in 2 short years, regardless of what happens, this will be a game and this will be a champion that we won't forget. You know, sometimes when you don't have a dog in the fight, you'll watch a national title game and you might forget about it 6 months, a year, 18 months down the road. I don't think anybody's going to forget this because whoever wins, Aaron, it's a pretty big story.
Yeah, and like you were saying earlier, this Indiana team, I mean, they realistically they weren't supposed to be here. I mean, Kirk Cignetti has done a phenomenal job getting this program to where it is now. And, you know, same thing with Miami, with bringing over Carson Beck and everything. It would be a big story for them. So like you say, whoever wins this, it's going to be a great story in either way. But for this Indiana team to go 16-0 or potentially 16-0, go undefeated, beat Miami in their hometown, in their stadium, will be a wonderful thing if they can pull it off.
Indiana is on the board first, 3-0. They lead Miami. Think about if you're a college football fan that just fell off the grid for the last 2 years and you suddenly resurfaced and you're watching the game tonight and you go, who's playing in the national title game? Is it Ohio State? Is it Alabama? Is it Georgia? No, it's Miami. And you probably go, okay, yeah, who else? Well, it's Indiana. And you'd go, what? 2 years ago, who was Indiana? Well, they're 15-0, and they're number 1 in America, and they got the Heisman Trophy winner in Fernando Mendoza, and they lead Miami 3-0, latter stages of the first quarter. We will keep you updated. Quickly to the NFL coaching carousel. 32 teams in the National Football League, right? 32. Well over a quarter and darn near a third. I mean, you're talking 30+%, 31% of the league is going to have new coaches in 2026. Sean McDermott today made 10 openings, 3 of which have been filled, right? The Falcons found their guy, the Giants found their guy, and reportedly the Dolphins earlier tonight have found their guy in Jeff Hafley. But 10 jobs have been opened this offseason, including John Harbaugh out after 18 years in Baltimore. Mike Tomlin out in Pittsburgh on his own accord. Sean McDermott. Imagine going back to week 1, going back to Labor Day weekend, right? Or the weekend right after. And telling yourself, hey, when this season ends, in 4 months, when this season ends, Baltimore, Pittsburgh, and Buffalo are all going to need new head coaches, and 2 of those teams would have made the playoffs. You would have thought, holy cow, what happened? That's kind of what I'm thinking, right? I mean, the NFL, we obviously know, means not for long. And that is never more true than with this NFL coaching cycle. You think about everything John Harbaugh did for Baltimore. Everything he did. Out. I think he got fired over a text message. And he found a job 10 days later, right? He was out of work for 10 days. Dove right back in. Kevin Stefanski is a former coach of the year. And the hand he was dealt was horrible by Cleveland. Just horrible with that quarterback situation. He can only coach who's given to him. He's not the GM. And he got dealt a ridiculous hand with the Deshaun Watson trade. And then obviously the nonsense now with Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders letting Baker Mayfield walk. Just everything that went on there. Stefanski was out of work for a week and a half. Atlanta got him right away. Mike Tomlin, Pittsburgh fans have wanted him out for a few years. All the guy does is go to the playoffs. You say, well, he doesn't win in the playoffs. Well, he's obviously won some. He's got a ring. He wins a lot of division titles. Would you rather be 9-8 for the next decade or be what Jacksonville has been for the last decade? I would personally take 9-8. But Steeler fans were tired of that. Looks like Tomlin got a little burnt out, so he left. The other job openings, guys just weren't allotted any time. Brian Callahan in Tennessee was fired after 22 games. Pete Carroll in Las Vegas was fired after 17 games. Mike McDaniel in Miami, kind of surprised they let him go. Raheem Morris went 8-9, 8-9, gone in Atlanta. 16-18 in 2 years, done. Why are guys losing jobs so quickly? You know, look, instant gratification's great, right? But don't you need to at least give some of these guys an opportunity? Some were not allotted an opportunity. Others were given that opportunity, like Sean McDermott, make the playoffs year after year after year, and then are fired. And worst of all is Buffalo in that ridiculous announcement. Did you see this earlier today? They said Sean McDermott did a, quote, admirable job. An admirable job. That's what they told a guy that's been there and taken him to the playoffs 8 years in a row. I thought that was a bad look for the Buffalo Bills. We saw Harbaugh dive right back in from Baltimore to the Giants. We saw Stefanski dive right back in from Cleveland to Atlanta. I think we're going to see Sean McDermott dive right back in. He's still a relatively young guy, early to mid-50s. All that guy did was go to the playoffs 8 years in a row. If I were Tennessee or Arizona or Las Vegas or any of these teams with openings, Baltimore, I'd be on the phone with Sean McDermott tonight. As far as Tennessee goes, looks like it's going to come down between Matt Nagy and Robert Saleh for them. Boy, wouldn't that be interesting if Robert Saleh gets the Titans job. That would mean that, obviously, he and Liam Cohen would get to exchange pleasantries now twice a year in the AFC South. That would be interesting.
That would be awesome.
That would be phenomenal. Phenomenal. But it's interesting that here in Jacksonville, we looked at the idea of Robert Saleh last year as a disappointment, whereas Tennessee is looking at that as a huge get because they just simply don't want Matt Nagy. And the Matt Nagy thing, the former Bears coach, current Chiefs OC, has everything to do with who the Titans general manager is, Mike Borgonzi, who came from Kansas City, and people are connecting the dots that he would bring Nagy with him to the Titans. I don't know if Nagy would be a good fit. I just think it's interesting that Saleh is wanted up there in Nashville when he was not wanted here last year, and the idea that Saleh and Cohen would be division rivals would be incredible. As far as the Jaguar coordinators, we'll start with Anthony Campanile. We knew that he interviewed in Miami. That job apparently has gone to Jeff Hafley, the Packers defensive coordinator. We did not know until this morning that Baltimore was going to interview Anthony Campanile, which they will reportedly do. Now, Baltimore, I was talking to a couple of guys earlier, including John Shipley, Jaguars on SI. You'll hear from him in less than 10 minutes. Baltimore is one of those teams that has interviewed a lot of people. I believe the number is 16 guys that they have talked to. So, because Campanile interviews there, I'd pump the brakes. I wouldn't worry all that much yet. And worry's a bad word. I would be thrilled for Campanile or Yadinsky to get a job as a head coach in the NFL. It's an amazing honor after 1 year as a coordinator. It would suck from a Jacksonville perspective, which is the team that we obviously cover on a daily basis, because of the job that they did this year for the hometown team, the hometown organization. But you would have to be happy for them. We'll see about Campanile. Obviously, he did not get the Miami job. We'll see if he's in play in Baltimore. I do believe Udinski is in play in Cleveland. Udinski apparently did a Zoom interview with them on Saturday, and he is one of 5 or 6 guys that is going to get an in-person interview later this week in Cleveland. Now, the Udinski thing would be kind of like Jacksonville's thinking with Cohen. Would Cleveland be 1 year ahead on Udinski? A 30-year-old coordinator that has never called plays. It's a scary proposition to put them as your head coach, but anybody you talk to around the NFL that's dealt with Grant Udinski, from Kevin O'Connell in Minnesota to Liam Cohen here in Jacksonville and all points in between, they love the guy. They absolutely love the guy. So in Cleveland, people would probably be, a 30-year-old that's never called plays. I think it would be a bold move. Will Cleveland do it is the question. There's a lot of people in Cleveland that want Jim Schwartz to get the job. He's one of the guys that's getting a second interview. Their current DC, Todd Monken of the Ravens, formerly of Georgia, is also getting a look as a second interview candidate for for Cleveland. So there's competition for that Browns job. But make no mistake about it, Grant Udinski is in play there. If I was a betting man, as it stands right now, I feel pretty confident about Anthony Campanile returning to Jacksonville in 2026, at least for 1 more year. He's going to be a head coach eventually. The question is it now or is it a year or 2 down the road? I'm leaning a year or 2 down the road for Camp. Udinski, I have much more questions. I think there's a decent shot he gets the Cleveland job. But from a Jacksonville point of view, you hate to lose either one. But from a Jacksonville point of view, might be a little tougher to lose Camp after year 1. Because Campanile and that defense, terrific work. You'd love to see him back for at least 1 more year. Because after all, Cohen is the play caller. And you say, well, who do you replace Udinski with? Well, there's probably guys on staff that would get a look. Udinski leaving, to me, would be far less complicated from a staff point of view as to Campanile leaving. If Campanile leaves, well, then you're might have to overhaul the defense. Because Campanile, odds are, would take some people with him to his next stop. Udinski, I think you could work around that more because you have obviously an offensive mind already at head coach with Liam Cohen. Nevertheless, we will keep you updated. But again, crazy times in the NFL. A total of 10 new head coaches for teams in 2026. We already know John Harbaugh with the Giants is done. Stefanski in Atlanta is done. And Jeff Hafley in Miami is reportedly done. That means 7 jobs remain. And Udinski and Campanile at least are in the conversation surrounding some of those 7 openings. More on that in the 9 o'clock hour. Update from the College Football National Championship game. Indiana still leads Miami 3-0, kind of a defensive battle, a feeling out process, if you will. End of the first quarter for the College Football National title. Indiana 3, Miami 0. We will keep you updated. Coming up next, my buddy John Shipley. Jaguars on SI. Let's look back on the Jaguars season. Let's take a look ahead to the offseason. What I like about something that John did is that it's different. Jaguars on SI, John Shipley produced a piece over the weekend where he basically gave a yay or nay. They're going or they're staying to every Jaguar free agent. And the big 4, as we've talked about, Greg Newsome, Montaric Brown, Devin Lloyd, Travis Etienne. Are they going or are they staying? John Shipley did something that I haven't seen anybody else do so far regarding those four. We'll talk to him about it next on a Monday night here in Jacksonville, Florida. It's Hacker After Dark.
There is a brotherhood in a morning sports talk radio show.
You don't want none of me. Think it through. Come on, give me your best shot. I'll give you a free one. Let me have it.
Dan Hicken and Jeff Prosser.
Come on, you can do better than that, gang. Try again.
Mornings on 1010XL.
That was a good one.
Rick Ballou for Coy Dental. That's right, Carlson Dental is now Coy Dental. Dr. Lee has been practicing there for 9 years, has purchased the company. The Coy Dental team still has the same great dentists and staff. And remember, if you get nervous visiting a dentist, don't. There's never a problem at Coy Dental. With light sedation for cleaning and deep sedation for all your restorative needs. Coy Dental, located in Bartram Park.
Coach Campo here, and I just want to tell you about the best pizza I've had right here in Duval, and that's Tony D's Pizza. Tony works hard to make every slice perfect. If you love pizza like I do, you need to go to Tony D's, Bay Meadows and 295.
Post-game Monday on 1010XL. Served by Dandy Foods, making quality fresh sandwiches since 1956.
If your ride is making strange noises, don't wait and make it worse. Come to Action Transmission on Merrill Road. My expert technicians can diagnose the problem and likely fix it fast. Experience the difference at Action Transmission on Merrill Road.
Get a healthy start in 2026. The Florida Department of Health in Duval County is here to help you get healthy and stay healthy all year long. Our dedicated team is committed to providing high-quality care and trusted public health services for our community. Our mission is simple: to protect, promote, and improve the health of you and your family. Learn more about our programs and services by visiting duval.floridahealth.gov.
Checkmate. I'm Brendan Cecilia, founder of Checkmate Coatings.
And I'm Chester, the adorable chess man on the tracks.
There are two things you should ask yourself about your garage floor. How clean is it now, and how clean would you like it to be? A typical bare concrete floor doesn't just collect dirt, it makes dirt.
It is literally made of dirt.
As much as you sweep and mop, the dust and grit just never ends.
And drips from your car seep into the pores, staining the concrete forever.
A Checkmate multi-layer floor resists drips and stains. It comes in your choice of dozens of colors and sweeps up sparkling clean in just seconds.
No need to wear shoes in the garage and track dirt back in the house.
Gorgeous?
Check. Durable?
Check. Tidy enough to walk on wearing clean white socks? Checkmate.
Transforming your floors, making them great. Checkmate.
Visit CheckmateCoatings.com. That's CheckmateCoatings.com.
When your home or business deserves more than ordinary glass, you trust the experts. Capital Glass and Shower Doors has been elevating spaces for over 40 years with precision, craftsmanship, and clean, modern design. From sleek frameless shower enclosures to elegant glass railings, wine cabinets, and any custom glass that makes a statement, Capital Glass delivers unmatched quality, service, and attention to detail. Your vision, their expertise. Capital Glass and Shower Doors at capcoglass.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch. Here's another call on the 1010XL hotline, driven by Key Buick GMC, home of the lifetime powertrain warranty.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. 4 teams remain in the NFL playoffs. We got Championship Sunday coming up this week, and then all eyes to the Super Bowl, and it'll soon be all eyes to the offseason. Amazing that 10 new teams will have new head coaches in 2026 after Buffalo fires Sean McDermott earlier today. And all eyes now on Jacksonville. Grant Udinski, Anthony Campanile, will they be back? Free agency is not that far away. Look, we got a lot to get into. And with that, my buddy John Shipley, who does a terrific job covering the Jaguars for Jaguars on SI. And John's always kind enough to join us here on Hacker After Dark. John, how we doing, man?
Hey, I'm doing good, my friend. How you doing?
Hey, John, we're good. Thank you for the time. You and I haven't spoke on air since the season came to an end, 8 days ago now. As you look up the season or look at the season in totality, John, probably a disappointing ending, but I would imagine now a week removed, people are taking a deep breath and thinking, wow, what a year it was at 13-4 overall.
Yeah, I think disappointing ending because it felt so abrupt. I mean, it's really felt like this was a Jaguars team that could go, a lot further in the wild card round. It seems like, in a wide open AFC, they had, a quarterback playing well, a defense that got a lot of turnovers, a top-ranked run defense that obviously traveled for the playoffs. It felt like, they were 2 or 3 bounces away from, beating Buffalo and going to New England last night. And I mean, obviously New England beat a good Texans team, but New England didn't exactly play a flawless game on their end either. Who knows what would have happened? So that's why it feels like disappointment, because it just feels like this team could have gone so much further. But I think that says everything, considering where this team was 365 days ago. Still in the throes of who's going to be head coach, what's going to happen with management, etc. I think big picture wise, the Jaguars had an absolutely fantastic 2025 season, and could it have gone better? Yeah, only in the sense that they improved so much that it became legit Super Bowl contenders. But I think that's a testament to the job that Liam Cohen and his staff did in the season that the team had.
Maybe a little easier that both Buffalo and Houston were eliminated this past weekend. So a little, not so much salt in the wound for Jaguar fans if they would have had to see Houston move on to the AFC Championship game. All right, a lot of questions for the Jaguars. Again, John Shipley, Jaguars on SI. Let's begin with the coordinators. We know Udinski is getting a second interview in Cleveland. Campanile already interviewed in Miami. He apparently now will also interview in Baltimore. John, what do you think the end game is here? Do the Jaguars lose both, one, or do both coordinators come back in 2026?
Yeah, I mean, until this morning, it seemed like the Jaguars, not guaranteed to get Campanile back, but it seemed like at least had a good shot because by all accounts, it looks like Green Bay Packers defense coordinator Jeff Hafley is the favorite in Miami, and I think they even rearranged some of their coaching search to kind of accommodate his schedule. They moved up a couple interviews so that they could be Rooney Rule compliant and be able to basically hire on the spot, much like Atlanta just did with Kevin Stefanski a few days ago. And, it seems like the Dolphins have done something very similar. So it felt like, okay, if that was the only place I was interviewing camp, Jaguars are in a good spot. Baltimore today, with the report from Adam Schefter, obviously, Baltimore, I think, has had like the most widespread search of any, them Titans probably of any team so far. I believe Camp is the 16th candidate for Baltimore so far. Some guys already have second interviews set up. So I think there's still a good chance the Jaguars keep Camp. I think it'd probably be, likely for a year if the defense has another really good year of success. But that gives you another year to kind of build upon things, potentially another year to plan for a succession plan. But, as much as both guys are really respected and as much as, Udinski is well liked across the board, I do think losing Camp would be, much more significant than losing Udinski. So obviously a lot of eyes on Baltimore. And then Cleveland's interesting because it seems like, there's a couple different routes that they can go. If they want to go the retread route, it looks like, Jim Schwartz has a legitimate chance to get that job. But if they want to go with the young upstart, there's Udinski, there's Nate Shieldhouse, who was a Jaguars candidate for offensive coordinator last year. There's Jesse Minter. I could see Udinski obviously being in play there. I mean, I think they have 6 guys coming in for second interview so far, and he's one of them. So obviously, that's the one spot to watch. But luckily for the Jaguars, that's about it, at least as of right now. Most of these searches outside of maybe the Buffalo Bills are getting into their second and third legs. So those look like the 2 spots right now to watch, Cleveland and Baltimore.
Again, it's hard to know this, but I'll ask you anyway. If Udinski and or Camp were to leave, are there replacements in the organization already, or do you think Cohen would go outside the organization?
I think defensively they would go outside the organization and hire a different coach, just because I think Camp naturally would probably take a couple guys with him. I would assume he would take Anthony Perkins, the safeties coach, with him. He brought him over from Green Bay, and whoever else would go with him. So I would think out defensively would be an external hire. I really think when Greg Udinski does get a head coaching job, whether it be this year, next year, whenever, I think the next offense coordinator is going to be Shane Waldron. He's already a passing game coordinator. He's been an offensive coordinator before, and I know the Bears tenure went absolutely terrible for everybody involved. I'm cognizant of that. But he had successful seasons as an offense coordinator before. Him and Liam Cohen have a long history together. He's the guy who recommended Liam Cohen to Sean McVay way back when. So I would imagine Shane Waldron will be the next offense coordinator if they ever have to find another one.
John Shipley, Jaguars on SI. All right, that leads us to free agency. And you wrote an interesting piece on Jaguars on SI this past weekend, basically giving your thoughts, go or stay, for every Jaguar free agent. And there's a thought that Monteric Brown, Greg Newsome, Devin Lloyd, Travis Etienne, those I guess would be the big four, that maybe one or two of those guys would return. You have a much different take, though, which is why I wanted to reach out to you. You had a different perspective. You think all four guys may be gone in 2026.
Yeah, I think, two guys were, I think, kind of tough. Buster Brown, he was probably the toughest guy out of all of them for, me to make my projection on. He could really be a coin flip, because I could absolutely see a scenario where they keep him for not, a giant, outrageous contract, on a reasonable price. But, other than him, Travis Etienne, similarly, I think if you can get him on a cheap deal and, have it make sense from, a dollar and cents perspective, it makes sense for him to come back. But I really feel like, and this is just me, going off assumptions, this isn't anything I've heard, I'm not reporting it, but it just really seems like in the energy, in the mood from, everybody who's been asked about it, publicly on the podium, that the Devin Lloyd season they're seeing as, hey, it was a fantastic season. Really happy he had it for us, and good luck moving forward. That's at least what it seemed like from my perspective. And it's nothing against Devin Lloyd. I don't think anything like that. It's just, I think that they have a scheme and a coach in Campanelli who can get the most out of the linebacker position. I think the fact that they didn't pick up his fifth year last year, he opened the season not even as a full-time starter. He was still rotating with Ventrell Miller as late as week 2. So they clearly, saw an outcome where they were going to be without Devin Lloyd next season anyways. I just think he has priced himself out. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets near $19, $20 million a year Fred Warner contract. He deserves it after the year he had. I'm not saying that otherwise. I'm not sure they're going to want to pay that. And then, with everybody else, you look at where James Gladstone kind of comes from and where this Jags team seems like it's building towards. It seems very Rams-like, where they'll extend the absolute core pieces that they don't want to leave, but otherwise they're going to let guys walk in free agency who they see potentially as role players. They're going to, use a lot of draft picks. They're going to get comp picks. The season I've been referencing is the Rams 2018 offseason, the second year of Sean McVay. They had just went 11-5 and lost in a wild card round before. They had 11 free agents, close to what the Jaguars have this year, and they only brought 4 back. They had 11 draft picks, much like the Jags do this year, and 10 of those guys made the team. So it's a 11-5 team that let a considerable amount of guys walk. They got 3 comp picks from it, but they used draft picks and young guys to develop and kind of accelerate and grow the program. And that's where I think the Jaguars are heading. So I think the team's going to look a lot different next season. I think that's the natural succession plan and natural, progression that this team is going to have under James Gladstone and Liam Cohen. I don't envision a lot of guys being brought back.
Final moments, John Shipley, Jaguars on SI. All right, John, you piqued my interest. Let's go rapid fire. If Newsome and Brown are both gone, you'd get Jordan Lewis back from injury, Jarian Jones. Obviously, you'd have to bring some people in, but does that mean that Travis Hunter is going to be more of a DB than a wide receiver next year?
I think so, because you just right now, just by the strength of the roster, you have 3 guys who you can absolutely trust to be full-time receivers, in Parker Washington, Brian Thomas Jr., and Jacoby Myers, and then potentially anybody else you add in the offseason. I don't think it means Travis doesn't need to play receiver, but I think James Gladstone, wasn't revealing a big secret. He was just saying the obvious last week when he said they have a bigger need for Travis at corner right now than that receiver. It's just the truth of how the roster's set up.
Travis Etienne, if he were to depart, have we seen enough of Bashal Tootin and LaQuint Allen, or do you think they bring a veteran in free agency?
It wouldn't surprise me if they either brought a veteran in or honestly spent another 3rd, 4th round pick on a running back. I don't think this is an offense that necessarily has to have a workhorse running back. If they obviously upped Bashal Tutin's role, but added another mouth to feed to the rotation, that wouldn't surprise me in the least. In fact, I would honestly think maybe that'd be the most likely outcome.
And then with Devin Lloyd, you mentioned Ventrell Miller. Is it that simple that Ventrell Miller would step right in for Devin Lloyd, or could it be more complicated than that?
I think somebody would have to earn the role. I think, Jack Kaiser would obviously get a chance. I would imagine, they would spend some kind of draft capital at the position. I think that, they're going to be very intentional in giving guys runways, as they say, and giving them pathways to earn playing time. So I think you'll see young guys in competition, but I don't think it'll be as simple as just plug Ventrell in there. I think Ventrell would have to go win the job.
And the interesting thing is they don't have a first-round pick, obviously, but Travis Hunter played 7 games. You never even saw Caleb Ransaw. Those were their 2 highest draft picks. And like you said, they have 11 picks still in the draft, including 4 that will be in the top 100. So even without a first-rounder, John, it's going to be a really active offseason for the Jaguars.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting team. It's going to be a young team. And then, like I said, that point of reference for Rams offseason, not to say the Jags are going to do everything exactly like that. Every team's different. Every team's their own. But the Rams also made 2 trades that offseason because they had the picks to do so. I mean, just because they weren't active in free agency, they added Marcus Peters that offseason. He ended up being a big part of their success for a couple years moving forward. So I definitely think the Jaguars, even without maybe spending a lot in free agency, can be big players in this year's offseason.
John, final question. Obviously, a little bit of downtime before free agency, but when we all reconvene in May for OTAs and it's full steam ahead for 2026, and you and I and all our colleagues are out there watching the first or second OTA practice, we think back about 2025. What will be your biggest takeaway from this past season?
My biggest takeaway is just that they got the head coach hire right. I think the amount of guys that you saw develop on both sides of the ball, which speaks to the staff that Liam Cohen built, the culture that he built. I mean, I've talked to a lot of players about a lot of coaches since I started covering this team, Hack, and there wasn't any head coach I've covered. I believe I've covered 4 now in Jacksonville that players were anywhere near as bought in on as they were Liam Cohen. It doesn't feel like a smoke and mirrors flash in the pan like the 2 previous playoff runs in the least bit, in my opinion. And that's going to be my takeaway.
John Shipley, Jaguars on SI. John, tell the good folks here in Jacksonville about the website and the coverage you guys will have in the coming weeks.
Yeah, you can find us at Jaguars on SI, Jacksonville Jaguars on SI, obviously.com. We're going to continue giving you guys a look at the offseason, more look at free agents, some connections, and then, really what happens around the league in terms of coaching staffs being built out. I'm interested, Hack, to see what happens with Tampa Bay's offensive staff, especially offensive line coach Kevin Carberry. Liam Cohen really wanted to bring him to Jacksonville last season, so we'll see if he sticks around the next offense coordinator or not.
It's a busy time of year. Even when the games are no longer being played, the roster begins being assembled for 2026, and it is certainly going to be active starting in a couple of weeks. John Shipley, Jaguars on SI. John, enjoy a little bit of downtime. We will talk as developments warrant, my friend.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you, my friend. Thanks for having me.
We love winning, and 1010XL wants you to win our contests. We also like to share the winning. That's why we ask you to wait 30 days to win again so others get a chance to have the winning feeling. Find complete contest details at 1010XL.com.
Hi, this is Dale Murray with Murray Automotive Group in Stark and Kingsland. Save yourself from those big city dealers and their fast-talking mumbo-jumbo. No matter what your automotive need is, we've got you covered. Ford, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, and nobody beats our prices. I mean nobody. Shazam! Plus our exclusive 15-year, 150,000-mile warranty included on every qualified vehicle. And we'll trade anything from high heels to wagon wheels. Compare our prices online at ShazamAuto.com. Then come see me, Dale Murray. I'll be waiting for you. Shazam!
Greenlaw Group is for the insured. If you think you have roof damage, call 904-302-7055 today, and they will schedule you a free roof inspection. Trust their law firm to help you fight your insurance when you need it. These storms can cause damage you may not even see yet. Call Greenlaw Group 302-7055. There's no cost to retain their law firm and no cost to have your roof inspected. They only get paid if you win. Greenlaw Group, for the insured.
He tackles talk radio like a middle linebacker in the gap.
I tell it like I see it, and I see it like a middle linebacker.
Tommy Mack. Fridays on Jaguars Today. Unsealed by Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors on 1010XL.
Hello, First Coast. I'm sure by now you have seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We're an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We're committed to customer service, reliability, and have an unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today from GFL, Green for Life.
Ghost. Skeletor World Tour 2026. Ghost. Theatrical. Arena Rock. January 22nd, Five Star Veterans Memorial Arena. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. Ghost. Don't miss Ghost.
What's up, Duval? I'm Chad Valamek, owner of Purple Heart Pools, Jacksonville's veteran-owned pool company for over 10 years. We specialize in new pool construction and pool renovations, built on military values, integrity, communication, attention to detail, and honor. Now is the perfect time to start your pool project, so when the heat hits, your pool is ready. As an Iraq War veteran and Purple Heart recipient, pride in what I do is everything. Let me show you the difference in how my team and I execute your pool project with military precision. Call Purple Heart Pools, Jacksonville's veteran pool company.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. This is Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
Approaching halftime, Hacker After Dark. We'll take you up till 10 o'clock as we do every night. 1010XL, 92.5 FM. As always, thank you to my friend John Shipley, Jaguars on SI. You can also catch us every night on the stream. We're on Twitter, we're on Facebook, and we're on YouTube for your viewing pleasure. You can just go to 1010XL and check us on the stream every evening here on Hacker After Dark. Coming up next, we got a couple of things to get into with you. Mark Duffner of the I'm trying to follow Indiana and Miami. All right, let's do this. The coach Mark Duffner joins us in the 9 o'clock hour. 50 years of coaching experience in the National Football League. The coach knows a thing or two about coaching in college football, as he was one-time head coach at the University of Maryland. Again, a longtime assistant and a defensive coordinator in the National Football League as well. I'm going to talk to Coach Duffner about a couple of things. Number one, Anthony Campanile, Grant Udinski, going to get his thoughts on both of those guys and their head coaching perspective. Number two, the whole Sean McDermott thing. Coach Duffner knows Sean McDermott personally and professionally, so I'm going to get his thoughts on Sean McDermott being fired this morning in Buffalo. And then I'm also going to get an offseason outlook from Coach Duffner, his thoughts on the Jaguars, particularly Devin Lloyd, Greg Newsome, Monteric Brown. So we're going to do a deep dive with a guy that has been a coach for 50 years in college and the National Football League, my buddy Mark Duffner. Later on in the 9 o'clock hour, Graham Hall, 24/7 Sports, Swamp 247. A little bit on the transfer portal with John Summerall and the football team, but a majority on Todd Golden and the basketball team. At one time, the Gators were 5-4 and looked like it just wasn't their year. And now all of a sudden, the defending national champions are 13-5, 4-1 in Southeastern Conference play, coming off an absolutely enormous win over Vanderbilt on Saturday. And it looks like Florida might actually be favored in every game they have left. Now, are they going to win their remaining 13 games in the conference? I'm not going to go that far, but they're going to be the favorites in probably all 13. Schedule eases up a lot. Remember Duke and UConn and Arizona and that ridiculous non-conference schedule that they played? Well, it gets a little easier in the conference. and they're 4-1 with the wins already over Georgia and Tennessee and Vanderbilt. So we'll talk a little Gator hoops with Graham Hall, 24/7 Sports, Swamp 247. Indiana does lead Miami 3-0 in the second quarter. Indiana thought they had scored. It was reviewed and determined that the Indiana wide receiver stepped out around the 5-yard line. So Indiana is knocking on the doorstep, 3-0 midway through the second quarter. Aaron, I got to tell you, man, look, national championship game, you would expect good defense, but we're in a land of college football where the offense sells. The fact that it's the national title game and it's 3-0 midway through the second quarter, a little bit surprising to me with how good these offenses are.
Well, that's what I told Rick. I told Rick that, this game will be a lot closer than I think what people think. Miami's defense is stout. I mean, there's no doubt about that. And so I figured Indiana will probably take a little bit longer to get settled in and actually, open up this Miami defense a little bit. But, it looks like they're about to take a 10-0 lead if they can punch this in.
If Indiana punches this in and goes up 10-0 with the way their defense has looked, Miami might be in a little bit of trouble. Still early. Again, midway point of the second quarter, but it looks like points will be at a premium tonight between the Hoosiers and the Hurricanes. Into the 9 o'clock hour we go. Again, the coach, Mark Duffner, about 15 minutes away. Graham Hall down in Gainesville towards the bottom of the 9 o'clock hour. We're glad you're with us on a Monday night here in the city of Jacksonville. Hacker After Dark till 10 o'clock right here on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM.
Frank Franchi.
Questions? Does Barry Manilow know that you raid his wardrobe?
Frank Franchi.
Don't mess with the bull, young man. You'll get the horns.
Afternoons on 1010XL.
Yeah, but he ought to have a real gig.
92.5 FM.
Next question.
If you are an experienced electrician looking for your next big opportunity, look no further than the Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller Electric, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering you the chance to showcase your skills on a grand scale. We believe in rewarding hard work with the best pay, top-notch benefits, and an unbeatable culture where people actually care about each other. Take your career to new heights with Miller Electric Company. Apply today at millercareers.com. Miller Electric, an equal opportunity employer.
David Lane here, and once again, I'm happy to share news of my success with back and knee surgeries at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. Whatever it is that's bothering you, take it from me. Simply set an appointment today at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists and let them help you get back to normal life. I'm certainly glad I did.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
He used to cover the Jags. Now he's a CBS Sports senior NFL writer.
Well, I believe he's got everybody's attention.
He's Pete Prisco. Friday afternoons on The Franchi Show. Brought to you by Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles on 1010XL.
I was ordering food for the office from the same few places for too long.
For workplaces suffering with office food fatigue, every day's a struggle.
Before starting Easy Cater, I assumed having no good vegan options for Carlin Finance was normal.
Easy Cater is designed to treat OFF with a huge variety of favorite restaurants, plus tools to help you meet dietary needs and stay on budget. Used daily, one platform lets you save time and shine. Ask your app store about Easy Cater or start an order at easycater.com.
Home of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
I'm with Fred from Cycles of Jacksonville. We always talk about Honda, Triumph, so many great bikes, but Aprilia from Italy is also a beautiful line.
It is absolutely gorgeous, and it is a fine sport bike. It's one that when you take your helmet off, you're never frowning. You're always smiling.
So if you want to treat yourself to something really special on the road, that's a line they should look into?
Absolutely, and we've got them in stock and ready to roll.
All right, make sure you check them out. They are on Atlantic near Regency. CyclesofJacksonville.com is a great place to go, or check out their Facebook page. That's Cycles of Jacksonville.
Joe C. here. I tried playing handyman with my sprinklers and French drain, and royally failed. So I called Clearwater Irrigation and Drainage, and John Haney came out personally, just like he'll do for you.
You know it. And for a limited time, my good buddy Joe C's coming too.
Huh?
Ain't that right, Joe?
I gotta go to the game.
Joe? Go!
Clearwater Irrigation.
At least do this part.
and drainage too.
ClearwaterJacks.com.
This is the kind of sandwich you don't rush. French dip at Firehouse Subs. Premium roast beef loaded with caramelized onions, melted provolone cheese, and topped with Italian seasoning. Stacked on a toasted garlic bread roll with hot au jus for dipping. For a limited time at Firehouse Subs.
Frank Frangie here. When you're inside the Kuhn Flowers showroom, you'll find a wide array of gift ideas that will take care of any gift-giving situation. Spend a few minutes there, and you'll see for yourself. That's Kuhn Flowers on Beach Boulevard.
San Jose Collision in Mandarin is proud to be an I-CAR Gold Class collision repair facility. That means they meet the industry's highest training standards. Experience the difference at San Jose Collision in Mandarin.
Hi, I'm Mac with Baker Glass. If you've got fogged up windows, let me help. We'll replace them with clear, insulated units that brighten up your home. People say we're fast, friendly, and reliable. Just check out our Google reviews. Call me today. Baker Glass. No one treats you better.
Hey, it's Travis from Cannons of Jacks. When you need a trailer hitch, gooseneck, or RV towing options, call us at Cannons. We've been doing it for 55 years, and customer service is our #1 priority. Visit cannonsofjacks.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
Well, Indiana did punch it in. They lead 10-0. Indiana over Miami in the second quarter. Miami, look, they need to start getting their act together on offense. In fact, they're just having trouble getting a first down right now. They may have a, boy, if they didn't get that, I think they went for it on 4th and 1. We'll see what happens, but it's not panic time yet. But this Indiana team is just nuts, man. I mean, this is an Indiana team that this is what they do. You beat Alabama 38-3, which I thought was unfathomable if you would have told me that beforehand. They're playing a good Miami team right now, and they are giving them just a battle and then some. Curt Cignetti, I don't know where this guy came from. I say that tongue-in-cheek. I obviously know where he came from, but he's an alien, man. I mean, he's 26-2 in 2 years, and he's on the verge of winning a national championship with a 10-0 lead with about 6 minutes to go in the first half against Miami. Miami did just make a big play there. They did get the first down. Carson Beck goes down the field. Miami is on the move now a little bit. I believe they are in Indiana territory for the first time tonight, but they do trail 10-0. Coming up next, again, the coach Mark Duffner. Big story in the NFL today, the firing of Sean McDermott in Buffalo. Buffalo now joins Baltimore, Pittsburgh, Las Vegas, Arizona, Tennessee among current job openings. And look, we know Miami has hired Jeff Hafley, the defensive coordinator for Green Bay. We know Kevin Stefanski, formerly of Cleveland, is now the brand new Atlanta head coach. And we know John Harbaugh, formerly of Baltimore, is now the brand new New York Giants head coach. The coaching carousel has been wild in the NFL. With that, I haven't even gotten to the divisional round of the playoffs. Let me hit that here quickly. Did Buffalo get the business on Saturday against Denver? Yeah, maybe. I wasn't in love with that call of the catch, no catch interception for Brandon Cooks. I was a Buffalo fan. I would have been irate by that. If I was a Denver fan, I thought they made the correct call. I could have seen it going either way. Couple of the pass interferences. I thought Tre'Davious White's was a pass interference. I wasn't sure about Taron Johnson's. Bottom line, Buffalo loses the game, and you wonder, I mean, look, if Brandon Cooks, if that's ruled a catch, and Buffalo kicks a field goal to win, obviously Sean McDermott is still the coach of the Bills. So a wild scenario happening there. As far as Seattle, San Francisco just ran out of juice. A lot of injuries on that team, just caught up with them. Seattle completely boat raced them on Saturday night in a dominating performance. As far as yesterday, does Houston have a C.J. Stroud problem? Perhaps. He was terrible for most of the game yesterday. I think there are some questions about him moving forward in Houston. New England didn't even play particularly well and still wins the game. And then last night, terrific game between the Rams and the Bears. You hated that somebody had to lose, but Sean McVay at the old age of 39 does it again. And look, the Rams and the Seahawks is going to be terrific theater. As far as the Patriots and the Broncos, it's Drake May versus Jarrett Stidham, because Bo Nix is out for the year with a fractured ankle. I think whoever wins the AFC, good on them. They'll be in the Super Bowl. They'll be a big underdog in the Super Bowl. I would be stunned if the world champion doesn't come out of the National Football Conference. I think whoever wins, Seahawks, Rams, will ultimately be holding the Lombardi Trophy 2 weeks later. Let's talk to a man that knows all about coaching in the National Football League. He did so for decades. My buddy Mark Duffner. Let's talk Jags. Let's talk coaching carousel and more. The coach Mark Duffner joins us next on a Monday night here in Northeast Florida. It's Hacker After Dark.
Friends, fun, and the best sports talk in town.
Well, come on. What do you say? Are you in?
1010 XL.
Talk about a great time.
Duval's Good Timin' Sports Talk Radio.
Ace Carline here for Atlantic Infinity, and yes, I'm still loving my new QX60. Right now, you can lease one or lock in just 1.9% financing for 60 months, and every new Infinity comes with the Atlantic Infinity Promise. That's over $7,000 in added value. That's one of many reasons why I bought mine there. No pressure, no games, just a great experience. Make your next ride an Infinity from Atlantic Infinity. Visit AtlanticInfinity.com or the showroom near Atlantic and St. John's Bluff.
Been in a car crash? I'm local attorney Rick Alexander, and I've made it our mission at the Alexander Law Practice to listen to you so I can fight for the best possible result for you. I've been practicing over 30 years, and our team focuses on guiding you through the entire process. And because fees and reimbursement costs come out at the end of the case, I will never ask you to come out of pocket. For a free review, call 904-400-6600 or log on to alexanderlawpractice.com, Jacksonville.
Learn everything you need to know about the Jaguars on Duval Rundown. I'm Hayes Carline. Join me each Monday, Wednesday, and Friday morning at 9:04. You can find Duval Rundown on all the social channels of 1010XL.
Driven by Jacksonville Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Westside.
Bueller,
Stay cooler with Bueller. Hey, pal, is that a turtleneck? Can't you feel it, Jason? There's a chill in the air, a definite nip. I mean, it is January. In Jacksonville, Jason. I didn't come here for cold. Well, I wouldn't call this. Cold weather gives me the sniffles. Sniffles turns to pneumonia. Suddenly, I'm in a hospital bed with a tube down my throat because Florida didn't get the memo about ignoring winter. So, switch over to heat. What if my system can't remember how to heat? Dude, put on these sunglasses. Whoa. Bueller Air & Plumbing can make sure your system is ready to switch from cooling to heat. We'll clean your heating coil to get rid of that burning dust smell and make sure you have the coolant pressure to keep your heat pump pumping out the heat. I had no idea these sunglasses worked in the winter. Stay cooler with Bueller. Visit BuellerAir.com.
This is Jeff Middlecoff with Cogent Bank. My associate Ryan Salem and I joined Cogent Bank because we wanted to revolutionize the mortgage business, just like Cogent Bank has revolutionized the banking business. So Ryan Salem and I are able to leverage the power and stability of Cogent Bank to go out and find our clients the best investors, the best products, and the best rates in the entire country for your particular mortgage loan. Of course, you don't have to be a customer at Cogent Bank to take advantage of our mortgage services to buy or refinance your home. We offer jumbo loans, VA, FHA, conventional, and investment loans. At Cogent Bank, we offer mortgages nationwide, so we can help you with a second home or help a family member who lives or is moving to another state. Call Ryan Salem or myself, Jeff Middlecoff, at Cogent Bank today, 904-442-9191, to see how we can help you with any of your mortgage loan needs, whatever or wherever they may be.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender, Cogent Bank, NMLS ID 402296, Ryan Salem, NMLS ID 1182429, Jeff Middlecoff, NMLS ID 249086.
Lauren Brooks here for Terminix. Before termites attack your home or business and cause costly damage, Terminix it. Terminix stops termites in my home fast. These destructive pests may have been around for millions of years, but before they show up, so does Terminix. And their time is up. Don't live with a termite problem. I certainly wasn't going to. Terminix it. Visit Terminix.com today to schedule a free inspection online. That's TERMINIX.com. Terminix.com.
The First Coast Games is an annual team-building challenge to introduce fun activities into the workplace and focus on your employees' health and wellness goals. These goals include some friendly competition, of course, including pickleball, cornhole, volleyball, flag football, and other team sports. The games will begin in March. Register your company and teams at fcymca.org.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch. Here's another call on the 1010XL hotline, driven by Key Buick GMC, home of the lifetime powertrain warranty.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville, we are glad you are with us. We have a Final Four in the National Football League. It's both the AFC Championship game and the NFC Championship game will be played this Sunday. We had another firing in the National Football League. That means now 10 new head coaches in 2026. And, of course, a couple of Jaguar coordinators, Grant Udinski and Anthony Campanile, getting head coaching interviews for some of those openings. Let's talk about all of it with my buddy Mark Duffner, the coach, 50 years of coaching experience in both college and the National Football League. And Coach Duffner is always kind enough to join us here on Hacker After Dark. Coach, how we doing, my friend?
Doing good, Hacker. How about yourself?
Coach, we're good. Thank you so much for the time. And, boy, Sean McDermott fired earlier today in Buffalo. That's going to make 10 new head coaches in 2026, or at least 10 men that will fill roles they did not have in 2025. Boy, owners now are as impatient as ever in the fact that almost a third of the league, Coach, will have new coaches in 2026.
Jeez, Ryan, I know when I saw that earlier this morning, the fact that Sean McDermott got fired, I mean, I couldn't believe it. The win yesterday is how people want it right now, as far as that's concerned. And when you look at the record that he has and the record that John Harbaugh had, and all the way, so many of these situations, I just don't get it. People want instant winning, instant success, and as we have seen this past weekend, it's not easy to do. And I'm disappointed by it. I think that, and especially, you need to know that when these moves occur, it affects numerous people. I mean, it can affect people from every part of the organization that may be tied to the head coach, and so it's not just a one man or one family getting fired. It's a number of coaches, other staff, could be personnel, could be all the way across the board. So it has a dramatic effect on many people when these things happen, and I'm sorry to see it happen like that.
And I would think that Sean McDermott, Coach, if he wants to dive right back in, he certainly could. I mean, you look at John Harbaugh, he was out for 8 days. And then, bam, He's the new coach of the Giants. Kevin Stefanski, the same thing, about 2 weeks. He goes from Cleveland to Atlanta. Some guys just choose to dive right back into it. I would think Sean McDermott would have that opportunity if he wants it.
Oh, absolutely. Are you kidding me? Look, I mean, when you quantify the success that he has had, look at the numbers that he's had in terms of winning, his record, divisional championships, et cetera, playoffs, everything. I mean, it's incredible. He's had a tremendous record. And I know for a fact, I know him personally, he's an outstanding person, number one, but an outstanding coach. He's well thought out. He's a very, very good defensive coach, but as you can see, he's done a heck of a job, I think, in terms of, success and winning football and exciting football that he and his staff have brought to Buffalo. And so I would think if Sean is interested, he would be certainly sought after by many teams, and properly so.
The coach, Mark Duffner, with us here on Hacker After Dark. A lot of job openings means a lot of coordinators are getting interviews which leads us to both Grant Udinski and Anthony Campanile. You've been around the NFL game for a long, long time as a position coach, as an analyst, and certainly as a defensive coordinator, so you know how the game is in the coaching carousel. Let's begin with Udinski. He apparently had a Zoom interview with Cleveland on Saturday. Obviously, that hit a note with Cleveland because he reportedly is one of the 5 finalists or guys that are getting a second in-person interview at the beginning of this week. Just your thoughts on Grant Udinski and what he may bring to Cleveland.
Well, first and foremost, I've been highly impressed with Grant. I don't know him, but I've watched his work. I've heard him when he's been interviewed by the press. A well thought out, very positive, upbeat person. I've been very impressed with what he is. I think he obviously has a real rich future moving forward as far as that's concerned. But I mean, again, I think what he's brought to the staff, in terms of again, his intelligence, his energy, his background and all that, I think it's been very, very positive. It's impressive, that to have, and really, if, like I told you pretty much all season long, if I was on the outside looking in on this team, I would be trying to dig in to find out everything that's going on with the Jaguars based on the dramatic turnaround and success that they've had, And so, and sometimes, and I'm not saying it in this case, but sometimes in these interview processes, these teams are just like that. They want to find out what's going on, so they're going to pick the brains of their candidates to try to find out what makes that organization or this organization better than another. So, I think I would hate to see us losing. I would hope that he would stay tight with Liam and the Jaguars and continue to build what they have. And I also got to say, I kind of referred to, James Gladstone and Tony Baselli and Liam Cohen as the 3 wise men, because they certainly have brought gold, frankincense, and myrrh to Jacksonville in terms of the gifts of the successful season. And I hope like crazy we can keep this whole staff and continue to growing and developing in the right direction.
Couple more for the coach, Mark Duffner. You mentioned Udinski to Cleveland in an interview anyway. At least it'll be his in-person interview. And now we find out Anthony Campanile, who was already interviewed in Miami, he apparently is going to get a look at Baltimore as well, as the Ravens have requested to talk to Camp.
Yeah, I mean, again, both of these guys, and the whole coaching staff need to be congratulated for outstanding efforts. Again, one of the more dramatic things, I think Anthony does a great job. I think he's very transparent. I think he's a tireless worker. I love his energy. I think he's well thought out in his game plan. I know he solicits the opinions of his staff, so it's not just a singular effort; it's a collective effort. I like a lot of what I see from what he does. I think he's got real strong connection with the players. They bought into him. They know that he's genuine in terms of his passion for them and for them to be successful. So. Quality candidate for sure. And, I've been impressed too with his background, all the way back to high school. So, these guys are really great young coaches that have demonstrated in first-year coordinatorships tremendous success, and I think that that's only going to get better, as they continue to get growth and experience, and if they take one of these head coaching jobs, I'll certainly wish them well. But I'd hate to see us lose them.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I would too, and it's a good and bad thing. I mean, the bad thing would be losing these guys, but the good thing would be, well, the reason people are looking at them is obviously the success of the franchise in 2025.
For sure, and like I said, I just have been amazed. When you see one of the most dramatic things I've ever seen in a season, and there's been a number of them watching the Jaguars this year. First and foremost, the dominant win that they had, offense, defense, against the Chargers here at home was outstanding. I've never seen a more dominant game against a very good football team than they put on the field that particular day. But when you look at where our scoring offense and scoring defense went from 2024 to 2025, from the late 20s ranked, late in the late 20s to where now they're in a situation where they were in the top 8 in the league on offense scoring and defensive scoring. It's unbelievable. So, I mean, I can't be more impressed with the turnaround and the collective effort that this coaching staff and in particular the coordinators have done.
Final moments with the coach, Mark Duffner. Coach, we got 4 teams left in the National Football League. Boy, talk about parity at its finest. I don't know how many people on Labor Day had New England and Denver in the AFC Championship game. Some might have had the Rams. I don't know how many had Seattle in the NFC Championship game. Yet here we are. And, boy, heartbreak for a couple. Boy, Buffalo and Chicago. Good grief, man. Just heartbreak city for those 2 teams.
Oh my gosh, there's no question about it. I mean, if in watching these games over the weekend, if you were not a NFL fan, you certainly are now, because I mean, geez, 3 of the 4 went right down to the wire, really, and like you said, the Bills game, I have to say that, again, I'm not an official, but I personally think that long ball to Brandon Cooks, I think was in fact a catch, and so I would say that, and I feel the pain that the Bills have, and when you look at the effort that Denver did put forth, and I mean Bo Nix playing, obviously he was hurt late in the game, I think. I mean, it's just impressive by both of those 2 teams, and then you look at the strength of the Seattle team, which we know, we played them. They're awfully formative right now in what they bring to the table offensively and defensively. And San Francisco was down with, so many players being out, Kittle, Warner, Bosa. I mean, they put forth a heck of an effort, but it's still a great season for them. And then when you look at Pete, the New England team in this May, and, he struggled a little bit with some turnovers there, but fumbling the ball. But wow, what a football team New England's got, and I think again you look at Houston just exploded, with the turnover situation. Then the nightcap. Wow, what a game! Goes to overtime. That throw that Caleb Williams made to Kmet, the tight end, I couldn't believe it. Of course, it's been talked about many, many, many times, but tremendous football, and what looms for a championship weekend next weekend, very exciting.
Coach, final question, and we'll certainly review Championship Sunday next week with you, start looking ahead to the Super Bowl a little bit. But, when you talk about Houston, obviously that's a direct correlation with Jacksonville being division rivals. Do they have a C.J. Stroud question heading into the offseason based on what happened yesterday?
Well, I haven't seen his full body of work this year, but I think that I would probably lean the dial towards the answer is yes on that. He struggled mightily yesterday, and I don't know that he ever could he never got in a groove. He didn't even, some of his throws I was amazed with in terms of the lack of accuracy and so forth. So, he played very well as a rookie. I don't think he's come back to that right now. So there's something obviously going on with the consistency of his play. And, that I think that's going to be a factor moving forward. Their defense continues to be, top rated. There's no question about that. They've got great defense, and really, when you look back on that, they probably should have ridden that horse as hard as they could. Really tried to establish the running game as much as they could. They only had 48 yards rushing against New England, and that I'm not sure they really tried it. Tried to run it enough. Now, the weather wasn't good for either team as far as that's concerned, but New England ran for 105 yards against a very good Houston team. So anyway, my point is, I think there's some issues, potential situation there that they're really going to have to look at. And if there is inconsistency there, that's going to bode well for Jacksonville moving forward.
The coach, Mark Duffner, 50 years coaching experience in both college and, of course, in the National Football League. Coach, enjoy Championship Sunday. We'll be back next week to recap, and hopefully by next week we will also have a little clarity on what the futures are here for Grant Udinski and Anthony Campanile. Appreciate you, my friend.
Appreciate you too, Ryan. And again, I hope both of them are staying right here in Jacksonville. That's for sure. Enjoyed it tonight. Thank you.
Your home for Gators hoops is 1010XL.
Southeastern Conference play heats up with 16th ranked Florida and rival LSU at the Swamp. Gators Tigers tomorrow at 7 on 1010 AM.
Live streaming from the XL Digital Studios. Brightened by Harbor Dental Care, Jacksonville's first choice for dental emergencies.
Hey gang, Prosser here. Jacksonville homes are selling, but it can take months, and it takes a price lower than you want. Well, getting top price means aggressive marketing, and Chad and Sandy Newman are the Jacksonville experts who have proven systems to drive the demand to sell your home. And they have this unbelievable promise and guarantee. Chad and Sandy guarantee your home sold at an agreed-upon price and deadline, or they will buy it. No required costly repairs. Pick your move date. If you need to sell now, Chad and Sandy have instant offers. Fast, easy, and stress-free. You want max price? Chad and Sandy are going to aggressively market your home, and they're going to get it. Anthony and Mary in Palm Coast said, we wanted to move back home closer to family. Getting max price was more important than a fast sell, but we had only purchased our home last year, so we didn't have much equity. After just 23 days of aggressive marketing with Chad and Sandy, they sold our house at the price we needed to make the move. Call the Jacksonville experts you can trust, and I recommend. Call Chad and Sandy at 904-414-6200 or chadandsandy.com.
Checkmate. I'm Brendan Cecilia, founder of Checkmate Coatings.
And I'm Chester, the adorable chess man on the trucks.
There are two things you should ask yourself about your garage floor. How clean is it now, and how clean would you like it to be? A typical bare concrete floor doesn't just collect dirt, it makes dirt.
It is literally made of dirt.
As much as you sweep and mop, the dust and grit just never ends.
And drips from your car seep into the pores, staining the concrete forever.
A Checkmate multi-layer floor resists drips and stains. It comes in your choice of dozens of colors and sweeps up sparkling clean in just seconds.
No need to wear shoes in the garage and track dirt back in the house.
Gorgeous?
Check. Durable?
Check. Tidy enough to walk on wearing clean white socks? Checkmate. Transforming your floors, making them great. Checkmate. Visit checkmatecoatings.com. That's checkmatecoatings.com.
Post-game Monday on 1010XL is served up by Dandy Foods, making quality fresh sandwiches since 1956.
What's up, Duval? I'm Chad Valamek, owner of Purple Heart Pools, Jacksonville's veteran-owned pool company for over 10 years. We specialize in new pool construction and pool renovations, built on military values, integrity, communication, attention to detail, and honor. Now is the perfect time to start your pool project, so when the heat hits, your pool is ready. As an Iraq War veteran and Purple Heart recipient, pride in what I do is everything. Let me show you the difference in how my team and I execute your pool project with military precision. Call Purple Heart Pools, Jacksonville's veteran pool company.
Did you know your roof ages from the inside out? By the time you see a leak, damage already exists beneath the shingles. Sun exposure, humidity, and seasonal storms slowly weaken roofing materials over time. If your roof is 15 years old or more, then now is the time to start planning, not reacting. At Endless Summer Roofing, we provide professional inspections and clear guidance so you can make informed decisions. Visit EndlessSummerRoofing.com to schedule a free inspection. Endless Summer Roofing, protecting your home from Florida's endless summers.
Get a healthy start in 2026. The Florida Department of Health in Duval County is here to help you get healthy and stay healthy all year long. Our dedicated team is committed to providing high-quality care and trusted public health services for our community. Our mission is simple: to protect, promote, and improve the health of you and your family. Learn more about our programs and services by visiting duval.floridahealth.gov.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. Now, the Monahan's golden moment. Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach, your local family jewelers.
Back here on 1010XL at 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. What a win for the Florida Gators on Saturday up in Nashville, 98-94 over a top 10 ranked Vanderbilt Commodore basketball team. Florida was once 5-4, right? Now all of a sudden they sit 13-5 and 4-1 in SEC play. Let's talk about the Gator basketball team, the emergence of the backcourt, and what is the best front court in America. Graham Hall of 24/7 Sports, Swamp 247, always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL. Graham, how we doing, man?
Doing great. Wonderful morning here. It is a interesting time, certainly in Gainesville, where a lot of people were looking at this team sitting at 5-4, like you said, and we're just questioning whether they had the talent, the backcourt additions, whether they would gel. And now 4-1 in the SEC, one of just two teams at 4-1 in the SEC, coming off a win at Vanderbilt. This is a team that is going to be favored the rest of the way in SEC play. Obviously, it's easier said than done to go undefeated over these next, 13 games here in conference play. But you look at this team when Xavier Lee plays the way he did on Saturday, when Boogie Flan plays the way he did earlier in the week and gets that 23 points like he did a week and a half ago. This is a team with its front court, the way it plays, they are extremely hard to beat when they hit shots from outside and when they dominate in the front court like they did this past week. Getting that rebounding advantage against Vanderbilt was certainly an aspect of Todd Golden thought that his team would be able to command after Vanderbilt was out-rebounded at Texas here, and Florida's size was just there's not going to be many teams out there that are going to be able to match Florida's size in the low post. And you saw that the Gators were able to assert their will against the doors and were able to get a marquee victory here for this team that is going to put them close to being one of not just the top teams in the SEC, but they're going to certainly move closer and closer to being one of the favorites to make a deep run into March, just like they did last year.
Well, look, we knew the front court was going to be good, and it's been good basically all year. The back court has not been good. Xavier Lee and Boogie Flan for the first month and a half, 2 months of the year, quite frankly, I think it's struggled, and that's putting it mildly. All of a sudden, Boogie Flan seemed to come out of that in the last week and a half or so, and now Xavier Lee seems to be coming out of that. Why is the backcourt performing so much better?
I think that they just needed some time to acclimate to not just the level of competition in the SEC with this Florida team having a target on their back every single night. I mean, a chance to beat the defending national champions is going to wake everyone up. The opposition is going to try and limit Florida on any given night, knowing that it's going to be just a statement game for them. And I do think that, Xavier Lee coming over from the Ivy League, he was going to need some time to be able to realize what it took on a nightly basis. Yeah, he had success, a ton of success at Princeton, but defending at a higher rate, playing for a full 40 minutes in the SEC is just a different beast entirely. And I think that him and Boogie Flan have needed some time to gel and learn where his teammates are at and how to get to his spots. But he's also been, I think, a little bit more aggressive at getting to the rim, understanding that the bigs are going to create space for him, are going to seal opposing defenders. And he has the quickness to finish at the rim over imposing front court players. You saw some of those crafty layups that he was able to get, the reverse layups, being able to finish at the rim. They would rather him attempt to score there than try and, when he gets off of 2 feet, make a pass, because that's, I think, a little bit of a risky move there for him. They want him to be aggressive. He's got the green light to score. And I think that's been a big reason for him. And then obviously when the outside shots fall, this is a guy who certainly shot over 35% at Princeton, but was shooting well below that to start his Florida career. They knew that if the shots started falling, people would stop panicking about this team. And you saw him hit 3 of his 3-point attempts on Saturday against Vanderbilt. He had a third of Florida's makes from long range. When that happens, he's going to be a guy who's going to be a threat to score 20 points a night on any given night. And for Boogie Flan, I thought it was kind of funny that a lot of people attributed his performance to the haircut that he got before his 23-point outing a week ago. Maybe that's correlation without causation, but this is a guy that certainly needed some time to get back into his playing shape. And similar to Xavier Lee, he has new teammates, a new environment, and if you're not hitting shots, this is a well-balanced Florida team that has threats to score at every single position. Alex Condon, Thomas Houck, Ruben Chinyelu is scoring at a much higher rate for Florida. Those guys are going to be threats to have double-digit points every single night. And if you're not getting yours, someone else is going to get theirs, and it's going to leave someone being the odd man out. And because of his subpar scoring performances, yeah, people were panicking, and rightfully so. But give Boogie Flan a lot of credit. This is a very young guy. He's a sophomore who had not played his full year of his freshman season at Arkansas. Still a really, really young point guard. And he was stepping into incredibly large shoes to fill, with Walter Clayton just being, a dynamic talent for Florida, an unforgettable player in Gainesville, and Boogie Flan comes in and plays well, extremely well on the defensive end. I think that has been a constant for him, but he just didn't hit shots, and that led people to panic a little bit, but did a good job orchestrating the offense. When he hits shots, everything else about his game is so complementary to Florida's success that people are seeing how critical he is to Florida's chances. I thought he had a really, really good week, and obviously they want him to keep it up, but he does so many other things well aside from scoring that there never has been any concern about him. But when he scores, the masses notice how good of a talent he really is.
Couple of more for Graham Hall, 24/7 Sports, Swamp 247. Gator basketball team has won 4 in a row in SEC play. Look, Graham, I think coming into the year, you kind of knew what you had with Thomas Houck and Alex Condon. Ruben Chinyelu was, to me, kind of a Donnell Harvey type, a great defender, a ferocious rebounder, but maybe wasn't going to give you the scoring. And then all of a sudden, since SEC play has opened, Chinyelu has been one of the best scorers in the conference. What on earth has gotten into him? Because his offensive game is a 180 from where it was a year ago.
Yeah, his offensive touch is just fantastic around the rim now. He's able to hit those turnaround back to the basket, little one-handed floating jump shots there. He's able to knock down shots from around 14 feet. I mean, you didn't see that at all last year. He's worked on his free throws as well, which, you know, is one of those aspects of the game that we take for granted until you miss a couple. And then in a close game, you sit there and afterwards, if it's decided by free throws, you say, man, we really need to work on our free throw shooting. But you got to give credit where it's due. When someone is knocking them down, he hit those 4 straight in that 7-point possession against Vanderbilt. I haven't seen a 7-point possession. I can't remember the last time I saw one. It was obviously an incredibly rare scenario. And he comes up huge at the free throw line, and then Thomas Houck drills the 3-pointer for that 7-point play. I mean, that is just an impressive sequence for Florida that doesn't happen without Chinyelu working on his free throw shooting. Hit all 6 of his attempts the other night. And he's obviously been a physically imposing force, but he's gotten, I think, even more athletic. His conditioning has improved. He's able to play at a larger rate. This was someone who, when he got here last year at Florida, yeah, he played in all 40 games, but there were games where he played 18, 19, 20 minutes and got into foul trouble. He's not fouling as much also, which I think is just as impressive as his improved offensive game. It's really been a complete improvement at both ends of the floor for Chinyelu. He's knocking down open shots. He's finishing at a high rate around the rim. He's a difficult guy to guard, and he's not fouling. I mean, when he plays the way he is and averaging double-digit rebounds, Florida is going to be incredibly tough to beat. He's another scoring weapon for Florida, one that was in their rotation last year, started all 40 games last year, but wasn't expected to be a guy who's going to go get you 15 and 10 every single night. That has changed right now, and I think it's a testament to him. And also, I got to give my guy Carlin Hartman some credit. You know, the job that Carlin Hartman has done with Ruben Chinyelu, they have a great relationship. Chinyelu calls him OG, and you know they really have a great relationship. They're in the gym every single day together, working hard. Carlin Hartman is going to get another head coaching opportunity. He's already had multiple offers. He's looking for the right one. This is a guy who deserves to be a head coach at the Power 5 level, in my opinion. And I think that one of the pieces of evidence for that is you look at the work that Ruben Chinyelu has done with his game this year. That is a guy who has a much better chance than he did 9 months ago at being someone who can play in the NBA. Even though he tested the NBA draft waters, it's the work that he's done since he returned to Gainesville that has put him in a position to be successful at the next level. He's been fantastic for Florida this season.
Graham, we got to go quick because I want to end with football, so about 60 seconds. But Todd Golden, right, when they're 5-4 and they had lost a couple of heartbreakers to Duke and Arizona and UConn, it would have been easy for this team to say, woe is me. We're coming off a national championship. Things aren't going our way this year. And even after that opening conference loss to Missouri, they're sitting at 9-5. A lot of questions about these guys. But they've beaten the tar out of Tennessee, Georgia, and Oklahoma. And then you go in and you win a tough game like that on the road in Nashville against Vanderbilt. What does it say about the job that Golden did to keep this team together?
I think it was huge, the retention aspect. Returning everyone in the front court was massive, landing a pair of top 35 transfers in Boogie Flan and Xavier Lee, bringing in Alex Kovacev, a guy who can be your potential 8th man off the bench, returning Isaiah Brown, who has turned into Florida's 8th man, bringing in Isaiah's brother, A.J. Brown, to be someone who can help him in his development process as well, and be another supporter in his corner. The retention and the additions have been huge for Florida. And then the way the schedule was constructed, Florida knew that they were probably going to take their lumps to begin the season. Arizona, Duke, UConn, even TCU got them. TCU has looked pretty good this season, much better than I think a lot of people thought they would. Florida understood that they would prefer taking their lumps in non-conference play if it improved their resume down the stretch, where, you go back to a season ago, people were sitting here and saying that Florida's non-conference slate was the biggest knock on them for their seeding in the NCAA tournament. That's not the case anymore. They're battle tested. They know what it takes to win. And a result, they're better for those losses. So the Florida coaching staff remained optimistic even though they lost those games, and it certainly is paying dividends, and it's validating their reason to not hit the panic button so early in the season.
Graham Hall, 24/7 Sports, Swamp 247. Graham, as we wrap up, final question. Let's shift to football. John Summerall, man. I mean, you keep, obviously, Dallas Wilson, Vernell Brown, Miles Graham. You keep Jaden Woods. You get Jaden Ball back. You go out in the portal and get a guy like Eric Singleton, obviously Aaron Philo at quarterback. I got to tell you, I mean, I figured Trey Wilson was probably gone when Vernell Brown and Dallas Wilson made their intentions known, but you get Eric Singleton, that's probably an upgrade. And Lagway, I thought, needed a change of scenery. I thought Florida, quite frankly, needed a change from him. You go out and you get Philo. We'll have to see what happens at quarterback. But if you're a Gator fan watching Summerall from afar, I don't know how you can't be a little bit impressed with his first 6 weeks on the job.
I think overall you have to be pleased, and I'll say impressed, with how aggressive he was in the portal. It was refreshing, and not to criticize the previous coaching staff, but they were a little bit slow moving and would miss out on targets.
I'll criticize the previous coaching staff. They were awful at
I'll leave that to you. Yeah, they were. Absolutely. And, there were things that led to that. They wanted additional film. They wanted guys to send workout tapes behind the scenes. And obviously measurables and verified, numbers are huge in this business because you want to be able to actually confirm what you see on film. But this coaching staff has done a much better job at moving quickly, landing players based off of previous relationships, whether it's Aaron Philo, Eric Singleton, Bailey Stockton, you name it. They've been able to capitalize on their longstanding relationships in this business. I'm with you that, and I'll leave it at this, that I understand people's concern about the quarterback position. You look at the tape from Aaron Philo and you wonder how good he can be. They wanted a starter, someone with more proven experience, a more proven commodity here. But let me just say this, and I've made this point. It is fascinating to me that people were knocking down the doors for an offensive coordinator who can make decisions and have some real power within Florida's offense for the last 4 years. And now you get an offensive coordinator who's considered one of the top offensive coordinators in the game. And if he wants to bring his quarterback with him, don't you think that that's what comes with having an offensive coordinator with some power? Give them the decision-making process to be able to bring in the personnel that they think is going to be best suited to running their offense, and put some trust into them. You can't have it both ways. You can't criticize who they want to run their offense and then say that they should have some power. So let's see how this all plays out. And don't rule out Tramel Jones. I'm not just appealing to the Jacksonville crowd out here. Don't rule out Tramel Jones. He came back to compete. He's someone who is not going to just accept being a backup. He's going to push Philo. He's going to attempt to win that starting job. Let's not rule him out whatsoever. And then obviously Aiden Warner coming back, Will Griffin going to learn. This is the quarterback room that is going to compete rather than have someone who simply believes the starting role should be handed to them.
Graham Hall, 24/7 Sports, Swamp 247. Graham, tell the good folks over here in Jacksonville about Swamp 247 and the coverage you guys will have in the coming weeks.
Yeah, a ton of transfer portal content over at Swamp 247. Basketball content as well. Roster construction. Baseball is coming up right around the corner as well. All over at Swamp 247. We're running a new promo deal Tuesday, so if you haven't joined our community, we'd love for you to take advantage of it. And it's going to be certainly a busy time here in Gainesville with basketball underway here. And as football gets into spring camp, we'll have to do this again soon, Ryan.
Graham, I know you're busy, man. Thank you for the time. We'll talk again soon, pal.
Pleasure's always mine. Y'all take care of there.
That's a fascinating little gadget. It's going to replace CDs soon. So I'll have to buy the White Album again.
What is this? It's a 1010XL.
The past is past, the future's now.
Flame Broiler, the Rice Bowl King, is turning up the flavor with new char wings. These wings are charbroiled, never fried, grilled to perfection for a big taste without the grease. Grab them as a 3-piece or 10-piece side, or make it a meal with a 6 or 8-piece combo, served with rice and a drink. Order pickup or delivery today from any of Flame Broiler's 5 Jacksonville locations, or call 904-619-2786. Flame Broiler, bold flavor done right.
Bueller. Stay cooler with Bueller. Hey, pal, is that a turtleneck? Can't you feel it, Jason? There's a chill in the air, a definite nip. I mean, it is January. In Jacksonville, Jason. I didn't come here for cold. Well, I wouldn't call this. Cold weather gives me the sniffles. Sniffles turns to pneumonia. Suddenly, I'm in a hospital bed with a tube down my throat because Florida didn't get the memo about ignoring winter. So, switch over to heat. What if my system can't remember how to heat? Dude, put on these sunglasses. Whoa. Bueller Air and Plumbing can make sure your system is ready to switch from cooling to heat. We'll clean your heating coil to get rid of that burning dust smell and make sure you have the coolant pressure to keep your heat pump pumping out the heat. I had no idea these sunglasses worked in the winter. Stay cooler with Bueller. Visit BuellerAir.com.
Rick Ballou here with a congratulations for John's Auto. They've been in business in Jacksonville for 40 years. That's right, going all the way back to 1985. Right now, they'd like to thank each and every one of you who's ever gotten their vehicle serviced at John's Auto. So, car, truck, or diesel, all makes, all models, whether it's a routine maintenance or a complete engine overhaul, go to John's Auto on Arlington Road, JohnAutomotiveJacks.com.
This Date in Sports History is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On January 19th, 2002, Tom Brady and the New England Patriots beat the Raiders in the Tuck Rule game 16-13. Brady and the Pats would go on to win his first Super Bowl.
Jake from State Farm. I just beat my running PR, so I'm celebrating with the Banana Bonanza smoothie.
Hey, and you can keep celebrating when you create an affordable price just for you by bundling your home and auto with the State Farm Personal Price Plan. Go bananas.
I will. Hey, make it a large.
Bundling, just another way to save with the Personal Price Plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
Hey gang, Prosser here. When it comes time to sell your home, don't worry about any, quote, problems you think might be related, because I've got the perfect team that will keep you right on track. In fact, they've got a guarantee that you can't beat. And that is Chad and Sandy, the agents I would call to sell my home. You see why? Your home sold guaranteed or they will buy it. Need to sell now? Chad and Sandy have instant offers. Fast, easy, and stress-free. But the promise is this. Chad and Sandy guarantee your home sold at an agreed-upon price and deadline, or they will buy it. Jacksonville homes are selling, but many take months and a low price to sell. Getting top price means aggressive marketing. Chad and Sandy Newman are the Jacksonville experts who have proven systems to drive demand to sell your home. Darcy in San Jose said, I felt too isolated in my retirement. I wanted to buy in a different area, better suited for me. I spoke to several agents who didn't seem to care. I needed to find someone I could rely on. In come Chad and Sandy, and in 3 days, the home was sold. ChadandSandy.com or 904-414-6200.
This is Jeff Middlecoff with Cogent Bank. My associate Ryan Salem and I joined Cogent Bank because we wanted to revolutionize the mortgage business, just like Cogent Bank has revolutionized the banking business. So Ryan Salem and I are able to leverage the power and stability of Cogent Bank to go out and find our clients the best investors, the best products, and the best rates in the entire country for your particular mortgage loan. Of course, you don't have to be a customer at Cogent Bank to take advantage of our mortgage services to buy or refinance your home. We offer jumbo loans, VA, FHA, conventional and investment loans. At Cogent Bank, we offer mortgages nationwide, so we can help you with a second home or help a family member who lives or is moving to another state. Call Ryan Salem or myself, Jeff Middlecoff, at Cogent Bank today, 904-442-9191, to see how we can help you with any of your mortgage loan needs, whatever or wherever they may be.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender, Cogent Bank, NMLS ID 402296, Fine Salem, NMLS ID 1182429, Jeff Middlecoff, NMLS ID 249086.
Make Capital Glass and Shower Doors your premier choice for top-quality glass solutions. With over 40 years of expertise, their team specializes in commercial and residential projects. From elegant shower doors to modern frameless enclosures, they've got you covered. But that's not all. They also offer glass railing systems, glass wine cabinets, and much more. For unmatched quality and service, choose Capital Glass and Shower Doors. Your vision, their expertise. Visit online at capcoglass.com.
Are you looking for a place to outfit your truck or van? It's Catlin Truck Accessories. For 105 years and 4 generations, Catlin is the name you can count on. This is Keith Catlin, and we know trucks and vans too, from Lear toppers, ladder racks, van shelving, strobe lighting, roll and lock bed covers, and everything in between. If you want quality products and great customer service, there's only one name. It's Catlin.
Who can you count on? Count on Catlin.
For 105 years, you can count on Catlin.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah.
5, 4,
3, 1. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
And thank you to Graham Hall, 24/7 Sports, Swamp 247 for joining us tonight here on Hacker After Dark. As all of a sudden, Florida, not that long ago, was 5-4. Then they lost their first SEC game, so they were 9-5. But then, bam, wins over Georgia, Tennessee, Oklahoma, and this past Saturday against Vanderbilt. The Gators now sit 13-5 on the year, 4-1 in the Southeastern Conference, playing some of the best basketball in the conference, if not the country, and are starting to get hot again here in the middle to late portion of January. Will it carry over like it did last year? Yet to be seen. There's a reason why very, very few teams have won back-to-back titles, but there is no doubt that Florida is beginning to get hot here as we get close to March Madness. And by the way, you look at the remainder of their schedule beginning tomorrow night, I believe they are going to be favored in every game they have left. Are they going to win every game? That's, lofty expectations to win 18 consecutive, or I guess 17 consecutive SEC games, but their schedule, SEC-wise, is maybe not as daunting as some other teams have it here this season. So we certainly spent some time on that, a little bit of time on the portal as well, and the job that John Summerall is doing with the football team. But as you can imagine, a lot of time on the National Football League. Boy, big news earlier today was Sean McDermott being fired in Buffalo. That now means 10 head coaches will be new on the job in 2026. We already saw the Giants hire John Harbaugh. We saw Atlanta hire Kevin Stefanski. Pretty crazy now that Sean McDermott's out in Buffalo. Still 8 jobs remain open, and that includes Cleveland, who's showing interest in Jaguar offensive coordinator Grant Udinski, and that also includes Miami and Baltimore. Baltimore, the newest one, that is showing interest in Jaguar defensive coordinator Anthony Campanile. So we will see how all of that plays out. Well, that will just about do it, man. Very, very busy Monday night edition of Hacker After Dark. We certainly appreciate you guys hanging out with us here on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM, and we have a ton of people to thank. Again, thank you to Graham Hall, 24/7 Sports, Swamp 247. Thank you to Mark Duffner, the coach, always kind enough to join us here on Hacker After Dark, and back in hour number 1, my buddy John Shipley, Jaguars on SI, as we put a bow on the Jaguar season and looked ahead to what should be a very interesting offseason. Now, we will be back tomorrow night on a Tuesday, and we will do it all over again beginning at 8 o'clock. Aaron Williams was your producer tonight. Aaron will be with us now moving forward, and we certainly appreciate Aaron's time. Thank you for all the hard work this evening. I'm the hacker, Ryan Green. And again, Jacksonville, thank you for spending part of your Monday evening with us right here on Hacker After Dark, on 1010XL, and on 92.5 FM. So for all of us here on HAD, have a terrific remainder of your Monday evening, and we will talk to you again tomorrow night on a Tuesday beginning at 8 o'clock. Until then, good night, Jacksonville.
Hey, Hicken here. I couldn't be any happier than to join the George Moore Chevrolet family. When I say family, I mean it. Visit their beautiful showroom today off Atlantic Boulevard. Find out exactly what I'm talking about. No pressure, just friendly help. And whether you want a car, a truck, SUV, electric, pre-owned, you name it, George Moore Chevrolet has it. And if you can't make it over to Atlantic Boulevard, no problem. MooreChevy.com is easy to navigate as any site you will try. It's never been more easy to use. George Moore Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
New year, new lifetime dreams. Let's build them together. Jeff Breyer here with the Lifetime family of companies, your local backyard
and indoor
home improvement specialists.
That's right, Dad. Lifetime enclosures, Lifetime flooring, and Lifetime windows.
Glass and screen enclosures, outdoor kitchens, pergolas, replacement windows, all to enhance your home's livability and value.
And a huge flooring showroom with thousands of the latest tile, LVP, hardwood, and carpet selections to help you fall in love with your home again.
Come experience the Lifetime difference. Call or visit one of our showrooms today for our limited Lifetime offers.
Lifetime enclosures.
Hey, Jacksonville, I'm sure by now you've seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We are an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We are committed to customer service, reliability, and have unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today. GFL, green for life.
Hi, I'm Sean Monahan from Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach. Since 1977, we've been Jacksonville's local family jeweler with a beautiful selection of fine jewelry and certified diamonds. But we're also Jacksonville's leading buyer of gold, silver, and diamonds from the public. Gold has recently hit an all-time high at over $3,600 per ounce. Pay bills, buy something fun. Now is the time to sell your gold for cash and get top dollar, or trade it in for a new piece and get even more value at Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach.
There's no doubt that we were in good hands when our son's shoulder and hip issues were diagnosed quickly by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. No matter what your orthopedic issue is, let Southeast Orthopedic Specialists take a look. You'll be glad you did.
David Garrard here. I've had